How you doing, everybody? Vasu, Vaddiparty here for August 30th, 2021. This is the Make the Money and Run podcast for Monday. A big week in sports with Major League Baseball down to its last 4.5 weeks. NCAA football, week 0. What is week 0? All the mathematicians out there can come on and give me a week 0 explanation. But week 0 of college football started. The last weekend of NFL preseason football has taken shape. Cut day will be tomorrow. We've got 10 days till the opener between the Cowboys and the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. The defending Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady will take on the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, who didn't play last year, coming off a big-time injury, will be back for the Cowboys. He didn't play a preseason snap. A lot of it there. You can join us every Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We were a little late today on the Make the Money and Run podcast. If you missed it, go online, download, subscribe to A Conversation with Vasu, Vaddiparty. My guest was Yogi Roth of the Pac-12 Network. We talked a lot about the NILs, alliances between the college football conferences, Pac-12, Big Ten, and ACC, as well as Pac-12 itself. Broadcasting for him starts on Thursday. He's got 2 games this weekend. Great conversation talking about him, and also he's a filmmaker. He had the Elite 11 camp. He also hosts the It Factory on Pac12.com, as well as the Pac-12 Network channels, wherever you live. All right, we're here 3 times a week on Make the Money and Run, Facebook and YouTube Live. Download, subscribe, rate, and review anywhere you get your podcast. We're sponsored by the Britannia Arms in Silicon Valley's oldest British restaurant and pub since 1981. BritanniaArmsDeanza.com, 408-257-7262. NCAA football, NFL football starting. No better place to go in Cupertino on a Saturday and Sunday than to go watch football. They've got all your British libations and British pub and grub that you would enjoy to watch a Saturday and Sunday of NFL and NCAA football as well, too. All right, I'm Vasu, Vaddiparty. Let's get to it right away. Lots of baseball to talk about as we get to it. First, we'll start the National League, the Dodgers and Giants. The Dodgers, being a Dodgers fan, it's kind of hurting a little bit. They can't win on a day the Giants lose. They've lost the last 3 games, at least the last 3 games that I can remember off the top of my head that the Giants have lost. The Giants lost 2 out of 3 to the Atlanta Braves over the weekend. But go figure, the Los Angeles Dodgers lost 2 out of 3 to the Colorado Rockies at home. San Francisco remains 3 up in the loss column in that division. San Francisco has a big 4-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers, who are 9 up on the Cincinnati Reds right now. Milwaukee comes in with their 2 best pitchers going in games 1 and 2 with Corbin Burns tonight, Brandon Woodruff going tomorrow. Johnny Cueto goes tonight for the Giants, and I believe Alex Wood goes tomorrow for San Francisco, and then Wednesday and Thursday to wrap that series up. And then the big series this weekend, Labor Day at Oracle Park in San Francisco. The Dodgers and Giants will match up in a big 3-game series. If there's still 3 out at that point, the best they can do is tie. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure Dodger fans are rooting for the Brewers, and Giants fans are rooting for the Atlanta Braves as Atlanta goes into Los Angeles for a 4-game series as well, starting tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern. ESPN will have that game as well. So Milwaukee up 9 games on Cincinnati. Speaking of those Braves, they are 5 up on the Philadelphia Phillies, 8 up on the New York Mets, thumbs down to the New York Mets. I'm sure you heard that story about Javier Baez and Francisco Lindor leading the charge of the thumbs down to the fans because they were giving them the thumbs down. But that's a whole nother ball story. Steve Cohen criticized his players, the new owner of the Mets. Sandy Alderson criticized the players for giving it back to the fans a little bit because the fans, he says, have a right to boo or do whatever they want. I'm not sure I totally agree with that, but Sandy Alderson been in baseball a long time. The Mets were 5 games up a month and a half ago. Sorry, Mets fans, to all of you out there. They're 8 back now in the division. That's a loss of 13 now. I know Jacob deGrom has been gone. It's been a tough sled for the Mets. Phillies haven't done very much either. They took 3 out of 4 from Arizona over the weekend. Should have been a sweep, but they're 5 back of Atlanta. Atlanta was under 500 a month and a half ago, and they've made up 12 or 13 games, and they're in first place in the National League East. It looks like they're going to have a division championship unless Philadelphia or New York catch fire. The wild card scenario, the Reds are 9 back of Milwaukee. That division pretty much over with Milwaukee's pitching, and they've got some hitting issues still, but right now Milwaukee playing the best of everybody. San Diego 1 back of Cincinnati. San Diego has really gone down the tubes. They were 8 up on the wild card race as the second spot. They were 3 games back of the Dodgers for the number 1 spot in the wild card, the NL wild card. Now they're 12 back or 13 back, I believe, as I look at it. They're 13 back in the wild card standings. The Reds are 12 back. The Dodgers, if they don't win the division, will end up having the number 1 seed in the wild card for a 1-game wild card at Dodger Stadium. San Diego, They're San Diego 1 game back on Cincinnati. Cincinnati 2 up on St. Louis. They're in the same division. They've got head-to-head matchups left. 3 up on Philadelphia and 6 up on the Mets. I still included the Mets in there because 6 up is not that much to make up, and they've got good enough pitching where they can get there. Now they've got Lindor. Baez seems to be hitting a little bit. Dom Smith has come back. Conforto had a big home run over the weekend, so we'll see where the Mets are in terms of trying to make up some ground here. San Diego 13 back of the Dodgers in the wild card, and only 1 back of Cincinnati for that second spot as well. Thanks to everybody on Facebook Live and YouTube Live for joining us for the previous conversation with Yogi Roth of the Pac-12 Network, as well as this show as well. You can download, subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Let's switch over to the American League. Tampa Bay is red hot. There's no other way to put it. Tampa Bay has won 7 in a row. They've won 9 out of 10. They're 82-48. Excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. 82-48. Won 7 in a row. They just swept the Orioles over the weekend. They are 6 up on the New York Yankees, who split with the Oakland A's over the weekend. Yankees have the top spot in the wild card. They are 9 up on the Red Sox in the AL East. Boston has slumped in the last month and a half. Boston and Tampa Bay start a big 3-game series. It means a lot to both teams. Maybe not as much to Tampa Bay, but they're 6 up on the Yankees. But Boston fighting out, holding off that second wild card spot above Oakland. They're 2 ahead of Oakland in the wild card. 4 up on Seattle and Toronto. Toronto not anywhere close in the American League East. And then Cleveland 7 back in the wild card for that second spot. The White Sox are 8 up on Cleveland in that division. That looks like it's going to be a White Sox division. They can be dangerous, but they did take 2 out of 3 over the Cubs this weekend. Lance Lynn, their best starter, was the one who lost over the weekend. And Houston 6 up on Oakland right now in the American League West. The A's split with the Yankees. Houston ended up taking 2 out of 3 from the Rangers this weekend on the road. They will have a big series against Seattle this week. This is a chance for Seattle to get back with them in terms of the division race and also maybe make some ground up, as the A's will go to Detroit tomorrow. Minnesota and Detroit are playing a makeup game today as well. As we said, it's 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th. The Twins have a lead. I have the Tigers plus 110. We're going to post our picks at 6 o'clock Eastern. There's going to be no picks today on this show. So check out all the social media at 6 o'clock Eastern on the Make the Money and Run podcast page, my page, Charlie O's page, as well as every social media on Instagram and on Twitter. Also, you can email us at mtmarpodcast@gmail.com. Lots to talk about in baseball. It's going to be a big week in baseball in terms of how the scenarios set themselves up. All right, did you see the college football this weekend? I gave you Illinois and UCLA over the weekend. Illinois plus 7 on Saturday. That's a winner. UCLA minus 17.5 over Hawaii. That turned out to be an easy winner. 2-0 to start my college football season. I have to include my alma mater. There were only 5 games this weekend. San Jose State did cover and did go over for Charlie O, 45-14 against Southern Utah. Congratulations to Brent Brennan and the San Jose State Spartans, a proud alumni here on the Make the Money and Run podcast. Fresno State in that same conference beat up on UConn, beat UConn big. Fresno State will have a big game this weekend as well, too. We'll get to all the college football and all the NFL football as we get to it. But 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5 games were covered by the favorites, and then Illinois with the upset on Saturday over Nebraska. Sorry to our friend Dan Lust, our sports attorney. His adopted college team is the University of Nebraska, but it was not a pleasant Cornhusker visit into Champaign, Illinois on Saturday. All right, NFL preseason has ended. Preseason quarterback decisions still in New England and San Francisco. Mac Jones or Cam Newton both look good. Yesterday, I watched the second half of the New England Giants game. By the way, if you're betting on preseason football, I mentioned this on social media. If you're betting on preseason football, you got burned if you had the Patriots minus 3. You got a very lucky break from the divine intervention if you had the Giants plus 3 on that last-second touchdown that allowed the Giants to cover 22-20 loss to the Patriots. I do not bet on preseason games. I take that back. I made one bet on a preseason game because the Atlanta Falcons are so bad, and Miami, even without Tua Tagovailoa, did not play in that game against Atlanta. Tua, we'll just go with Tua. They beat up on Atlanta, and that's my only preseason win. The NFC West will look tough with all 4 teams. 49ers still debating what they're going to do with Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. What do you think out there? Kyler Murray in Arizona. I don't know what to make of Arizona. Everybody thinks they're going to be better than they looked. I have not seen anything in the preseason that's going to happen yet. But the NFC West looks tough. Buffalo looked pretty good in the preseason. They look to go to back-to-back AFC East titles. I know New England is going to compete with them. The Jets might be better. I love Zach Wilson. I just got a feeling that if they let him play and they put a defense around him, they get some kind of supporting cast, that Zach Wilson is going to be really good in New York. And then Buffalo, New York, New England, Miami is going to be really good as well, too. So that AFC East could very well go with the NFC West. The NFC East, Carson Wentz was placed on the COVID list. He was coming back off his injury. He'll be back in the week 1 allegedly, but he's not able to make the COVID list right now. So I don't know what that's going to do for him as well. So Indianapolis now looking at another quarterback shift. They don't have any more preseason, but at least they have 2 weeks. So maybe he can get through protocols and get there as well. All right, moving on, some more NFL before we close out here. Giants look to improve on their 2020 NFCs. I think they have a team, but Washington looks to be the most complete team in that conference and that division. Dak is ready to go for the Cowboys week 1. Do they have a defense? And Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 pick for Jacksonville, ended up looking very good against the Cowboys yesterday. Excuse me. I haven't had lunch yet. I don't know what's going on. Trevor Lawrence looked nearly perfect against the Cowboys yesterday. And Urban Meyer, in that sense, named him the starting quarterback. They traded Gardner Minshew to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 6th-round pick. So for you fantasy footballites out there, J.K. Dobbins also out for the season. He tore an ACL in Baltimore's last preseason, 2 weeks ago, preseason game. He'll be out for the year, but they've got other running backs that they feel will work. Gus Edwards, who I've had on my fantasy team, has been very productive for me through the last couple of years as well, too. So lots to take in. Tomorrow's cut day for the NFL. Get your fantasy football rosters out. Charlie O and I will have all the fantasy football updates, all the line updates for college football and NFL football starting this Thursday as we go into week 1. Lots of Thursday games to get to in week 1. In fact, as I look at it right now, Ohio State, Minnesota is the headliner on Thursday night. San Jose State and USC will play on Saturday. UCLA, LSU will play Saturday night. Don't forget Georgia, Clemson on Saturday night as well, too. And that's one of the big games. And Alabama will go up against I forget who they're going up against. But they've got a big game as well, too. They're about a 17-point spread. I think they're playing Miami this weekend. We'll have all that for you on Saturday as we get rolling into the college football season. The NFL season doesn't start till September 9th. So this Labor Day weekend will have a majority of the focus on the NCAA. And also, we have not forgotten about baseball. Labor Day weekend is when the pennant races start to heat up. That'll be next weekend. So we're 5 weeks away from the regular season and all the playoff possibilities that go with it. So that's going to do it for us. Vasu Vaddiparty here. Don't forget to look up BritanniaArms.com. There are good sponsors here. Britannia Arms of Cupertino, Silicon Valley's longest-serving British restaurant and pub since 1981. BritanniaArmsDeanza.com, 408-257-7262. You can check us out at 6 o'clock Eastern for our picks. Charlie and I will have picks for you at 6 Eastern on all the social media platforms. Don't forget to check out the Make the Money and Run podcast group page that we have on Facebook, too, as well. Send your comments, send your emails out there to mtmarpodcast@gmail.com. All right, for Charlie O, I'm Vasu Vaddiparty. The Make the Money and Run podcast for Monday, August 30th is in the books. We will see you on Thursday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Facebook and YouTube Live. Don't forget to download and subscribe any part that you missed. Don't forget at 6 Eastern, we'll have the picks for the worldwide famous unsponsored pick segment. Thanks to Britannia Arms. Thanks to everybody out there on Facebook. Want to give a shout out on Facebook to Tom and David for checking us out on Facebook. Also, don't forget to pass it along to everybody. Download and subscribe as we get going as well into college football and NFL season. Baseball still a big priority in terms of the last 5 weeks. Giants, Dodgers in the West, Tampa Bay, New York, and Boston in the East. White Sox have pretty much run that division in the Central, as has the Brewers in the National League Central. Houston 6 up on Oakland. The Braves are 5 up on the Philadelphia Phillies right now as we speak. Big series this week. Tampa Bay, Boston, Braves, Dodgers, Giants, Brewers, 3 of the series. A's will go with Detroit tomorrow. The White Sox just came off their 2-3 with the Cubs as well, too. So lots of baseball to talk about. We'll keep you involved the next 5 weeks as it relates to the actual games themselves and also the wagering aspect. I'm Vasu Vaddiparty, Charlie O on assignment. Have a great afternoon, everybody. This is the Make the Money and Run podcast for Monday, August 30th, 2021. We will see you soon. Take care.